FIFA video. It is team this season for the Premier League, and I want to go through a few tips and things that you could be doing this week to make sure that you're getting the most sort of out of your account in terms of packing some of these team of the seasons. So obviously there's the EFL in there as well, and there's some big cards in there. So you've got potential to get them as well. So what I would do, and I recommend doing throughout the team of the season, is having a look at some of the icon players that perhaps that you want to put some of your big cards in, because the method I'm going to show you today is basically how you get kind of a load of team of the year cards as well as actually working towards something. So it might not even be an icon, it might actually be something in here. So you might like the look of that Dele Alli, Harry Kane, or whatever it is, or Joe Gomez, for example. So if you want to work towards them, or I would say have them as favourites and use your duplicates or any big cards that you don't really want to keep around the account, and doing that way. Now, the importance for this is obviously the League SBC is kind of the basis of it. Now, I believe that the MLS is quite popular as well as the League Earn, but from what I've seen, Eredivisie isn't like the most kind of used SBC. People don't really look at it and think it's the best. So what I recommend is actually doing it because no one else is doing it, is essentially the method you're going to do here. So Eredivisie, obviously, have a quick look at it. So you get a rare mix pack, which is good because you get rare cards with the potential to get things that you can use later on. So if you get rare bronzes or rare silvers, you can obviously use them in the icon packs, which basically, in the icon SBCs, which is here. So you can get 2 rare gold players pack, and these are tradable. So potentially there's room to come back and actually get a good tradable high rated card in them. So make sure every time you get kind of rare sort of silvers and golds that you kind of can't use, they're kind of off league, away from league SBCs, then obviously don't use them. And the same here as well for the silvers, you can do the same. So obviously at the moment we've only got 3 league SBCs. There's going to be more coming out, I think, almost every Thursday. So all the ones that kind of were previously there are going to come back. So it may be worth, if you can, trying to keep them cards around for any kind of league SBCs that you're going to want to do. So if the Prem's going to come back, maybe it's best to keep the Prem silvers if you pack them, and go from there. So touch on the Eredivisie, you get a premium election players pack for the 75 rated squad, which is really, really good. And obviously you get some small prime mix. So you get a lot of mix packs in this, and this is why I think it's kind of a good one, especially knowing when the bigger league is going to come out, which you may want to do. Obviously, I really like the Prem and La Liga normally, so when they come back, if I can stack up loads of silvers from a lot of these silver packs and mixed players packs and rare mix packs, then that's going to be really put me in a really good position for when they come out, and I'll be able to build a load of packs from them. So you're probably wondering, well, how do I start then? How do I get to a point where I'm actually going to be able to do these really, really easily? We've done a similar method before, but what I recommend doing is basically going and having a look at some of the prices and doing a lot of bidding around the players, and kind of storing a few as well as selling a few. So if you do have a low amount of coins, it may be worth just picking Eredivisie and just concentrating on silvers, for example, working out what they're going for. So the lowest by now looks like it's 450, perhaps it might be a little bit more. So it's a little bit higher, actually. It looks like some of these are actually going up quite nicely, but it does depend on the time of day, so just keep checking. So about 600 coins, 650 coins, depending on the position. So I would just check each player that you pick up to see what they're going for. But if you can pick them up for, I would say, maybe under 450 here, is a good way to go. So actually, let's just go 400, because sometimes the filters mess around. Yeah, 400 is about the ideal position. Now, obviously, some of these you're going to have to wait for, but let's just say we get this David here, and we put a bid on him. So what I recommend doing is, before you go into games, there's a lot of objectives out at the moment. So if you're working towards them, just bid on the 50 of these. Especially the silvers are a nice position to go because they're a lot easier to flip than maybe the bronzes might be. But we'll have a look at the bronzes after this. But I think putting 450 bids is kind of sensible. I think that's the kind of the route that you want to be going down. So it might be doing that. And then you can make at least sort of 150 coins to 200 coins back on each player. But normally if it's like a defender, for example, so let's just have a look at this Butler. We've put a 450 coin bid on him, but you can probably sell him for near sort of 650, 700. So you're going to make a lot more coins on him if you're going to do that. Now, the basis here is obviously you're going to bid on 50 of these. Send every at the start. I think if you've got a lot of coins, just send everything you haven't got in your club in terms of the players in, and just sell any duplicates. And the more and more you repeat this, you're going to get to a point where you're going to keep getting a lot of duplicates. And then what I recommend doing is then running through this here. So the silvers obviously will help you fill out this squad here, which is obviously you need 9 players from the same club. So have a look at some of the clubs that you're picking up a lot of silvers from. to make sure that you're hitting that 65 rating. And obviously, if you do get a few bronzes as well, then you can do that. And the same here for 67. It doesn't matter how many, so I'll use kind of one maybe from each team. So you're still building up your teams, and you're not kind of using a whole team, because it's the hardest point about this whole thing is actually this probably second squad here. The bronze ones you can do relatively cheap. Obviously here you need one from each club anyway, so making sure you're choosing bronze players as much as possible, but maybe with the odd silver just to boost that rating up. So in terms of the bronzes for the Eredivisie, they're going for around, I believe, 350, maybe a little bit more actually, 450. Yeah, about 450, 500. So there's also the ability to sell them for a little bit more as well. So if you can be picking these up for, I would say, around 300 coins max, you'll be in a good spot in terms of selling them on. Bronze is a little bit harder. That's why I concentrate on the silvers, because I think there's just not as many in this league. But you might be able to play around some of the filters. And I'm doing this during the day, so if you're doing this around sort of 6 p.m, you're probably going to have a better chance of doing that. At the same time, if you want to, especially at the moment, you can do bit bronze packs to get some of these ones as well, and then maybe keep some of the League SBC cards for when they come out. And then if you want to gain some coins back at that point, you can do so. But I just concentrate relatively on the silvers. I feel they're a lot easier to pick up, so I use them kind of throughout this and do that. So if you do need to buy a few players throughout, just make sure that when you're bidding on other players, you're kind of making a profit from that, which then you can go out and buy the player you need to complete the SBC team. And then obviously you've got the golds as well. Now the golds probably at the moment are kind of okay in terms of picking them up. Obviously there is a 75 rated squad, and I think in terms of golds, I would imagine they're about 600. Yeah, it looks about 600 to me. If you go down to 500, what's going on there? So there's a few there for 500. So on buy now is you don't really want to be using it, and obviously you're doing this method to kind of maximize the profit that you can get. So I'd be going in and bidding on these at 400 coins at the start. If you're finding that you're not getting too many of them at 400, then go up to 450, knowing that you can send them on for probably about 550, if I'm honest with you. And you're basically building up your club with Eredivisie players until the point where you've kind of maxed out that. And then after that, the journey is kind of set, because you've got a constant intertwine of players in your club for the Eredivisie. That's kind of built up your club, and then any bidding you do after that, it's likely you're going to pick up duplicates, and you can resell them on to gain the profit back. And that's where it kind of kicks in. And at the start, you're probably going to have an initial kind of downfall of maybe 30, 40k, I would imagine, if you're doing a lot of bidding to try and max out this league. But once you get that first sort of bidding section done, it makes the whole thing a lot easier to be able to go through this and complete it. Now, obviously, some of you might be wondering, well, what do I do? Do I sell on players? Do I not? I would say if you're looking at, I would just do it on an individual basis. So if a player is for some reason, it's a silver, for example, and it's going for, I don't know, like 3k or something, I would just sell it on, unless maybe it is a Premier League one that that challenge is going to come back and you might need it later on. Then it might be worth keeping that, but it's all dependent on your own individual grind. I would normally probably just sell it at the moment, because, well, no, I'd probably keep it at the moment because it's probably lower than it will be when them SBCs come out. But obviously the tradable stuff will just go into your club, and that will kind of fill up your club in them, and obviously build up the other leagues that you might need. And then obviously, if you do get any high rated players in here, I would probably sell them if they're tradable, because then you get an influx of coins back in to the club, which is great. But anything that's untradeable, obviously you would keep. So you've got about 300 tradable packs in this. You get the rare mixed, you get the small gold players pack, and which is good because it brings up them commons in, which they're quite hard to get at the moment. And then you get the premium election players pack there, which is kind of going to help you with that too. But yeah, you just do the bidding process of that, trying to build up 50 transfer targets, whether it's a mix between bronze, silvers and golds. Send the players that you don't have into your club, and then obviously do another bidding round, and then until you start getting a load of dupes, then you're in a good spot and you can start doing the SBC back and forth. Now, what I would say is, once you've kind of done a run through of the Eredivisie, go back to bidding again, just do another round of 50 bids, and then you can go back into the SBC and do that and wait for them to finish. Send more players into your club again and kind of keep doing that grind. So at the start, I would probably say do, as a recommendation, do 4 rounds of bidding through gold, silvers and bronzes for an Eredivisie, just to build up your club. So you're going to have 100, 200 players in your club for an Eredivisie, and that's going to help you do it, which is where you get the downfall to 40 k or so. But then you're going to think you only need to pack maybe one team of the season during your run after that to kind of get them coins back. And obviously you are flipping some players at the same time as well. So once you get them duplicates coming in, you're going to be making a lot of coins back, 300-400 coins per player. So the outlay at the start will kind of be reduced the more and more you do this SBC. So it's an investment at the start, and then you get your coins back later on, as well as all the players you're going to get in your club, which you're going to start to see your items are going to go up here. It's going to help you do a lot of the other stuff that's kind of out. So these kind of like team of the season challenges that come out, you're going to start to see you'll have a lot of players in your club to be able to do them, and that's extra free packs. As well as that, you might start to see that you're filling up the league earn. So if you just go into league earn here, I don't know where I'm at with that, but you might be able to get an extra pack going on. So, and you can slowly start working towards this without really actually bidding on any league earn players. So if you just do that, yeah, you can start to see here. I can complete it basically because I've done it a fair few times now. And you can see here I've got like a few informs, and these informs have come from League SBC grind as well, which is going to help you obviously kind of grind overall in terms of doing a lot of the players that come out that you fancy doing. But yeah, being a bit careful of kind of who you want to use and who you don't. So obviously here you only want to try to use the lowest amount of rares as possible. But yeah, like something like that is kind of absolutely fine. Obviously there's an 82 Boateng in there. If we can get him reduced down, we can. So trying to bring the rating down as much as you can as well is a good idea. Try not to use as many high rated players because obviously sometimes they're going to be helpful later on. So just being a bit picky, being a bit thinking a little bit about it is a good route to go down. So something like that would be perfect. Let's send that in, and then you obviously get your pack. This is obviously an untradeable pack. You see what you get. It might be crap, it might be not, but you've got there like a La Liga player. And now what you find with the League SBC grind now is that every single player that you get is going to start building up your club, and it's going to really help. But if we had got any duplicates in here, I would obviously swap them for the tradables, and then the tradables would go onto my transfer market, right? And I would then potentially list them if I can feel I can get a little bit of coins for them. But if not, then I'll just keep them here, knowing that EA eventually, normally on Mondays or Tuesdays, will bring out a player pick SBC, which I can then start looking through here, seeing what players I've got duplicates of, and then using them in that SBC to get some player picks, which is going to get me fodder, which is obviously going to help me start working towards this Pablo Maldini that I want to get in my squad. As well as obviously all the packs that we're going to be opening from the League SBC as well, which is going to kind of help build out some of these squads as well. And it's kind of the whole kind of like, it's almost like a cog, you've got to do one part to do the other and to do the other. And another part of the League SBC grind, which obviously I don't think many people actually speak about, is keeping an eye on some of the objective stuff, the content that's out. Because at the moment during Team of the Season, there's a lot of kind of packs similar to like this, where you can go into squad battles and assist 10 goals with midfielders, and you're going to get an 81 plus players free midfielders pack, which might not sound much, but you never know. Like you could get a Prem team this season out of that just with a bit of luck, or you might just get some high rated fodder, which is going to help you complete an SBC that you want to do. So keeping an eye on these, you can play 5 rival games and literally lose them all. I think you could probably go into them, play a couple of minutes, and then quit them. If you just don't like rival gameplay, you can do that. And then the same here, just go into amateur on squad battles and just play 3 games, get 10 assists, and you've basically got some nice cool packs there. And then at the end of it, I think you get 5 83 plus rated players pack. So working towards these, keeping an eye on the objectives is a good way to do it. And there's also just chipping away at your icon swaps. Obviously, they're available at the moment as well, so making sure that you're just chipping away at them, trying to do them at the same time as possible to save time. So, for example, going out and just buying silver MLS Brazilians, you can get a whole squad for that. That will complete all 6 all at once, just in 6 games, which is obviously a big time saver. And then after that, I'll just go into your club, look for all the English players that you have that are first owner, and then go into that and getting them final 2 done. So you can get the whole squad battles done in sort of 12 games. And yeah, just chipping away, obviously, these ones as well. So, there's going to be probably this week like a Premier League guaranteed team of the season pack that's going to come out, and you've got a team of the season in here that you can work towards. And I reckon it's going to be sort of an sort of 6 or 87 rated squad. So having a 90 rated team in the season that you can go in, which you're probably not too fussed about having, you can just chip away at him. And this is all done across different game modes by playing them as well. So you can see here, I've not even kind of concentrated towards it, and I've already done it. So I played 15 games already. I've scored a couple of goals already with EFL players. So that will get me that swap token. And that's another thing, the swap tokens. Keep looking across the objective of SBCs, etc., and making sure you're getting these, because eventually EA are going to release some cool content where you're going to be able to swap these for some interesting packs, probably team of the season cards and icons and things like that. So again, that's like kind of the overall grind. You kind of need to intertwine a little bit of gameplay with a little bit of League SBCs, with a little bit of trading, and honestly, you'll have a really, really good account, and you'll get yourself something like this at the moment where I'm at with my account, where it's a solid account. I'm really, really happy with it, and I've been able to work towards big cards. And what I'm not too scared to do at the moment is actually start looking at some of the players that I'm not using in any of my kind of squads here across all the leagues and stuff, and getting rid of them in the SBCs as well. So for example, this Maldini, the 89 rated, I put things in here that are quite high rated, but I know that in the future I just won't be using. So just have a look over your squads here. For example, you go into the Prem. Right, this is my Prem squad, absolutely beast, of course. But is there players here that I could potentially be using? I don't really want to be using Jorginho, obviously, because he's a team of the season, team of the year. But there might be some players in here that I could potentially use that, aren't being used. I think I've used the majority of them now. But if you just go into the Prem special. So, for example, this Jack Grealish, this Kirantini, they're not getting into my squad at all. There's no way they're going to get into my Prem team. They're not getting in my first team. So what's the point of having them is essentially how I look at it. So from that, I would basically go into my Maldini and basically build out a squad of the players that I don't think I'll be using. So, you can see here at this point, this is where the squad is at in terms of the fodder I've got and where I'm thinking, or the type of players I'm happy to put in. Probably not Lloris, to be honest with you, but then I think he would be swapped out for David De Gea when I get that done in objectives. But yeah, you can see the grind. Hopefully that is helpful. If you have any questions, obviously let me know and I can go into it a bit more. But basically, the whole grind is building up packs, bidding on a lot of players, giving yourself the best opportunity to get team of the season players, and having a good team and being able to upgrade your squad. It's essentially the whole grind. And then while you're doing that, chipping away a little bit of objectives in between the grind of bidding. So you're not just sitting there waiting for stuff, you're using your time to the best benefit for you. And yeah, guys, hopefully that is helpful. Obviously, it has been a little while since our last video, so I apologise for that in terms of the grinding kind of videos. I just haven't been on the game, but now Premier Team season is here and all the cool players are coming out. It's kind of enticed me to get back into it a little bit here. So I will be pumping out more videos and hopefully some helpful content for you. So you guys, thank you for watching. Take care. Hope you had the best day and I'll see you next time. Peace.